Okay, for this Style Sheets Revisited exercise, we're just going to do a little practice EPUB newsletter here to get us ready for our next assignment. So here we are in InDesign. So you'll just click on Create New to make a new project. And then when the window comes up in a minute, here we are. So since we're doing an iPad, you'd like to click on Mobile. And then it gives you a few mobile sizes, but not the one we want since we're looking for the regular iPad. So just click on View All Presets, and there's your iPad right there. So you just click on that, and it fills in over here all the stuff that we probably want, the width, the height, and everything. We do want to change it a little bit. So we're going to change the orientation right here to vertical or portrait. Do not check facing pages. Don't change the number of pages. We'll let InDesign add as many pages as it wants, as it needs. And to do that, we're going to check this primary text frame. Now, I know on the handout it says to make 1/4-inch margins, but of course, since we're in an iPad world, everything is in pixels. 36 pixels, I think will be fine. Don't forget, we can always change stuff. We don't want any bleed, of course, because nothing's going to get cut off. This is not for print. Bleed is strictly for print. So the iPad size, which is this right here, change the orientation to portrait. Do not have facing pages checked. Only have one page. Primary text frame is checked, and you're going to see what that does in a minute. So then just click on Create. And here we are. Now I am in my Essentials workspace right here, so it's got everything that we need. And here is just one page, as you can see. Okay, so to put in our text and have it flow in and put on as many pages as we need, all we need to do, don't draw a text box. Just go to your text tool right here, your type tool, just click on it, and then in here, just click anywhere. Doesn't matter. And you're going to get this little cursor right there saying what kind of text do you want. And you could type or whatever, but what we're going to do is use our Word document to just pour the text in. And that you put in just like you would a picture. You go to File and down to Place. It's right here. And then we will get the navigation that we know and love in a minute. Okay, here we are. So I am doing a little practice one, so I'm going onto my desktop. You will go into your proper folder for this. And here we are, Grad 250. And here's my folder that I set up, as you can see. Name, or my initials, number, underscore, and then call it something good. These are Jimmy Buffett music lyrics, so that's what I called this. And then this is my demo one. Click on that. I have already put in the Word document, which you will find in the pickup or in Blackboard. So all I needed to do, remember I did File Place, so all I need to do is select that Word document. You can wait for the preview if you want, but I usually don't. There it is. Go to Open. Wait a minute. And there it is. Now it's come in with any kind of formatting that Word already had, but notice the really cool thing is that it has added pages to accommodate all the text. So this is a really cool feature. So the key was don't draw a text box. Just click with your text tool and then do your File Place and place your text. Now we are going to make style sheets for this. Makes it so easy to format everything and to change things. The first thing we need to do is get rid of any styles that came with it. And Word often has styles, and that's why some of this is centered, some of it is bold. That's all stuff that came from Word, so we need to get rid of that. So with your cursor, just click in there, again, anywhere, it doesn't matter. And then if you do Command A, you can select all the type. You can see everything is selected, and that's really grooving. And now what we need to do is get our paragraph styles. We're going to be using paragraph styles here. Those are the only ones. And to get those, you just go to Window, and you go down to Styles, and you say you want the paragraph styles, just the paragraph styles. So get that. And here we are. So this normal, that's the one that came in from Word. And this little plus means that there's overrides, which means it had a style applied, and then somewhere somebody, maybe even me, highlighted some stuff and made it bold or made it centered or something, so overrode the style that was applied. So we just want to get rid of that. So in reality, we could just throw away that style, and it'll say, hey, what do you want to replace it with if you're going to get rid of that? We can replace it with that basic paragraph. There. Now, still has overrides. Didn't change anything here. You know, it's just getting rid of a style that we don't want because we don't want to get confused. Okay, everything is still selected. I only have the basic paragraph style, but it's got an override. That's that plus. So I'm going to go to the little menu over here in the paragraph styles palette, and I'm going to say clear overrides. And now you can see there is no plus here. Everything is flush left. It's all plain. There are no styles applied. So you want to do that because otherwise you will find trouble. You'll run into problems because there'll be styles and then you'll be overriding styles, but it won't know what to do and you'll be sad. So just leave it like this. So there's that. The next thing we want to do before we get excited and start making our own formatting is get rid of that auto leading. Remember, you don't want to have auto leading. You want to control leading yourself. And leading, of course, is the space in between lines of type. So again, click in there anywhere. Doesn't matter. Command A to select it all. And then over here in the properties in your paragraph, right here, actually it's under the character. See the parentheses, that 14.4 point, and in parentheses, that means that's auto-leading. That's the computer deciding what looks good, not you. So I usually just click up one. And now it'll stay. Now it's 15 and it'll stay until I change it. The other thing I'm going to do, since I've got everything selected, I'm going to uncheck hyphenate. That way I won't have to do it in every single style that I make. Okay, so there we are. So that was easy. So I better save this baby. So File, Save As. And I'm going to give it a good name. My initials, of course, magic number, underscore. And then I'll call it Jimmy Buffett Lyrics Demo. Okay. And I will put it not in here. I'm going to put it in where I am making this video. Put it in my desktop, going remote. Grad 250 remote. Here's that folder that I showed you before. I'm going to put it right in there. Of course, saving it as an InDesign document, and there we are. Now I can just do Command S as normal. All right, so now the fun part. We're going to do a little Command plus to zoom in a little bit so that you can see what's going on. I've got my paragraph styles right here, but I am not going to use them yet. The first thing I want to do is I'm not going to make a paragraph style for songs by Jimmy Buffett because that only occurs once. So I will just format that as I wish. Okay, but here's what we've got going on right here. We've got a title of the song. We've got its release date, the year it was released, and we have the album that it came from. And then we have just some of the lyrics, not the whole song, but just some of the lyrics. Okay, so there's title, release date, album, lyrics. And then you can see that just keeps repeating. Title, release date, album, lyrics. Okay? So, since those keep repeating, instead of formatting it each time it comes along, we're going to make these style sheets. So, what style sheets to make? I'm not going to worry about that yet. First thing I'm going to do is make this look good. So I am just going to do the first song, and I am going to choose formatting that I think looks good. So I'm going to start with the lyrics themselves. And you want to make sure that when you drag to select it, you go all the way out. Because notice how there is a little space after each line. And if you don't get those spaces, you will have trouble with leading. Okay, so just make sure you get the whole thing. And then don't use Minion Pro. You know, nothing wrong with it, but it's the default. I want to see you picking things, okay? I want to see you choosing your own formatting. So I am just going to start. Remember, I can change any time, but I want to make it look pretty good. So I'm going to highlight Minion Pro. I've got my lyrics selected, and I think Avenir might be a good typeface for this, and I can just run down along here. It's a nice sans serif typeface. I think that will be good for these lyrics. Remember, it's Jimmy Buffett, so it's all about, beaches and warm weather and tropical islands and things like that. So I want to pick typefaces that are sort of breezy and light like that. So maybe I'll try Avenir Light. Let's see how that looks. Okay, not too bad. Little on the big side though, so I'm going to highlight that. Remember, don't just leave everything at 12 point. I think this can probably be a little bit smaller, 10 point. Now notice when I changed the type size, the leading did not change. The space between the lines did not change. And actually, I like that. I like that 15-point leading. Nice and airy again. Okay, so I'm pretty pleased with that so far. And now I can have fun with these guys. I think I will probably make the date the same. Use that Avenir. But I think I will make it, I think I will make it a bolder one. Avenir. Okay, maybe bold. I sort of like the idea of an italic. Oh, I will just, you know what, for right now, I think I will just make it Avenir heavy oblique. I don't want it too bold. All right, and I think that's a little on the big side. Okay, we'll see. Okay, so I'll just make it a little smaller. And then I think we'll do the same for, well, let's see what to do for the album. Let's try good old Gaudi. You can't go wrong with Gaudi, really. Oh, I really wanted an italic. Well, let's see. Nah, I'm not liking that. Okay, let's try. You really can't go wrong with Garamond. So let's try that. Garamond. Let's try this one. Yeah, I think I can live with that. And I will keep that at 12 point. Okay. I am now going to pick something really fun for this. And let's see, is there something that I've used recently? Oh, it's just coming in those. So let me, marker felt. It's a little too everyday. Let's just see here. I want to make sure I have one that's got quote marks on it, because I have quotes around all these. What's noteworthy? Is there a bold noteworthy? Now, how about that? That's sort of fun. I know it looks a little crunchy here. Remember, when you're selecting just one line, instead of just selecting it, because if you just do that, you are missing that little extra space in there, and that can cause you trouble. So I suggest just, if you click once, that puts your cursor somewhere, wherever you clicked. If you click twice, it selects that word. And if you click 3 times, 1, 2, 3, it selects the whole line, including that little space there. So 3 clicks will do it for you. Okay? And then I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. I want to make sure that those names really stand out. Maybe 18, that's a nice round number. Okay? So we'll see how that looks. I may want to change that later, but for the moment, that looks pretty good. The other thing is, in between the album name and where the lyrics start, there are 2 spaces, typically, maybe not always, but typically. I'm going to make those the same as this in a minute, okay? Alrighty, so here we are. So let's say I love this. Okay, let's say I like those. At least I like it well enough. I better save it, Command S. And then what I'm going to do is make these into style sheets. And the beauty thing is you don't have to highlight the whole thing. We're going to use paragraph style, so that's a style that will be applied from return to return. So just click in there anywhere. Let's start with the title. Okay, click in there anywhere. And then here's our paragraph styles palette. And you can add a new paragraph style a couple of ways. One way is to go into the little menu and you say new paragraph style. The other way is to click down here, and it says Create New Style. Now, personally, I like the little menu because you go right to the Styles palette or the Styles window, but either one will do it. If you go to Create New Style, there's your new style, and then you just have to double click on it. And here we are. If, I'm going to throw this one away for a sec. Yeah. See, okay. If I use the little menu and say New Paragraph Style, it immediately goes to this window. So immaterial which way you choose, I just like this. It's a little bit less work. Now remember, name your styles after what you were applying them to, not their formatting. Because if you change the formatting, then you'll have to remember what you named it, but that won't match anymore, and you'll be sad. So, paragraph style 1, that is no good, because I would have to remember what that means. This is the song title. So I am just typing in song title. Okay? Now the beautiful thing is, since we already oh, look at that, it changed it. Yeah, darn it. So I'm going to fix that again. Let me go back to noteworthy. I don't know why it changed, but there we are. All right, 1, 2, 3. I wanted that to be 18. Oh, these are the little snafus that happen. Okay, so now it's right. Okay, I'm clicked in there anywhere, doesn't matter where. I go to the little menu. I think it's when I threw away that style that it got goofed up. I go to the little menu. I say New Paragraph Style. I call this Song Title. Okay, now the beautiful thing is it's picked up that style. Okay, see, it's noteworthy. It's bold. The size is 18. I'm going to click on Apply Style to Selection so that that style's been applied to this line. It didn't just use it to make the style, but it's actually applied to this line. Okay? All right. And then I'm not going to change anything else right now. Just going to say okay. And there we are. So there's my song title. I'm going to do the same with this one, the date, the release date. I'm going to come to here. You just click in there anywhere. Come to the little menu, New Paragraph Style, Release Date. Could have also written year or date, whatever you want. It's picking up that Avenir, heavy oblique, 11 point. Leading is 15 point. No hyphenation, so that's good. Apply style to selections already checked, so hey, that's good. Just say okay. It's just that easy. Let's do the album. Album. All right, you just say okay. Click in here anywhere for the lyrics. New Paragraph Style, lyrics, and we say okay. All right, so there we have it. I better save that, Command S. All right, so now I can scroll down here and I can click on Margaritaville and I can say, hey, that's the song title. I can click on 1977 and say, hey, that's the release date. I can click on album and say that's the album. Now, when you get to this part, you do need to highlight everything because each of these lines is their own paragraph because there's a return at the end of each one. So you do have to highlight all of those, but no worries. Just make sure you get all the way. Just go way out. Okay, see, I go way out. Make sure I get all those spaces and everything, and those are the lyrics. Just that easy. Now, if you're like me, you want these styles to be in order so that you just do the song title, then the release date, then the album, and then the lyrics. And they are in the reverse order because that's the way that I did them. But you can move these around. Okay? Just move the song title up there. The next thing is the release date. Then we get the album, and then we get the lyrics. So now they're in the order that I will use them. Now that's just an option, but it's a nice little feature. So now I can come down here and I click on Son of a Sailor. That's the song title, release date. See, I can do a little bit less thinking now. There we are, lyrics. And I just carry on. It's so quick and easy. And I don't have to think. I can just enjoy making this look good. And it just takes a minute. All right. And I'm really almost done. I've forgotten exactly how many songs I put in here. Okay. There go the dogs barking. It's all right, just a little background noise. There we go. Just that easy. All done. So better save it. So now everything is pretty good. Now what I want to do is a couple of things. Remember I said that these spaces have no formatting. Okay, so they're not going to behave like I want them to. So I'm just going to make them the same as the lyrics. Okay, wherever there are spaces, I'm just going to make them the same as the lyrics. So there's a space in between the album and where the lyrics start. There's also a space after the lyrics. So I'm just going to go down along there and catch those. I got these, so I don't need to worry about those. Whoops. Okay. Just do that real quick. Now that one's got 2 instead of 1, which the other ones had, but we will deal with that in a little bit. We could also make style sheets for these spaces if we wanted to, or we could add these spaces to the song lyric, the song title. That wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. But I just want everything to have some kind of style that I can work with. So there we go. And that's the last song. So there we go. All right, better save it. Okay, so here we are. Now, let me fit this in the window. All right, so here we are generally. I know it looks a little bit crunchy. Let me see if I can improve that display performance. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I didn't know if it would change on type or not, but it did not. So here we are. And now you can see that everything's all formatted. It's all looking pretty good. I've got some different spaces between the songs a little bit that I'm going to want to fix. But overall, everything is all set. Now, I've got an awful lot of wasted space here. If I made these into 2 columns, that would look pretty good. All right, so here's how you do that. It's just that easy. You click in, I'm on page 1 with my black arrow. I click on that text box and I am changing the text box itself. So that text box is an object, okay? It's the box that we're changing, not the type in it. So select it with your black arrow, go to Object, and you go down to Text Frame Options. And here we are, and we just need to tell it how many columns that we want. We do want a fixed number of columns. We want to tell it, I want these many columns. Okay, so that's a fixed number, and the number that we want is 2. So you just click on it. If Preview is checked, it'll show you what it's doing. So that's cool. So we have the 2 columns now, and now this is a little close together. This is the gutter. Here's the first column, here's the second column. This is the gutter. So we want to increase the width of that gutter to keep the type apart. And we've got plenty of room, so why not? So that is right here. So you just keep clicking up until you like it. Okay, I'm going to make it 30. I want a nice break in between those 2 columns. So 30 is my choice. You decide what looks good for you. Actually, there's tons of room. I could even make it 50, I'll bet. Let's see how that looks. No, that's probably a little bit big. Let's divide that. 40. There we go. All right, we'll stick with 40 for me. If you have a different, opinion, then by all means, as long as it looks good. Okay? And then you just say, okay. It's just that easy. And here we are. Now notice, oddly, I thought I had taken off all the hyphenations, but here I have some hyphenations. So weird, but so easy to fix. I'll fix that in a minute. Okay, so here I am. So looking good. Now notice it only did it on the first page. So that's sad, and I've got this fourth page that doesn't have anything on it. Third page only has that little bit on it, but that third page is going to move up into here. So I just have to remember that this was 40. All right. So I click on the second page, the text box on the second page with my black arrow. I go to Object, Text Frame Options again. I tell it I want 2. I tell it I want the gutter to be 40, just like the other one, and I just say OK. So there I am. And now everything's fitting just on these first 2 pages, so that's nice. So now I have these extra pages that I don't need. So I want to get rid of those, and the easy way to do it is just go to your Pages palette right here. Okay, you can see first page all full of lyrics, second page has half full of lyrics, which is fine. Third and fourth pages, nothing. All you need to do is just grab that baby, page 4, pull it into the little trash. It says it contains objects. The object it contains is that empty text box, so you don't need to worry about that. So yeah, you want to delete that, so just say OK. Same with page 3, don't need that. All right, and now I've got these 2 pages, and there we are, looking better. Now we don't have to fill up every single square inch of these pages, so that's looking pretty good. Now remember, baby steps. You don't need to have everything work, with one click or whatever. We just are making progress all the time. The next thing I want to do is the title of this whole thing is Songs by Jimmy Buffett. Now at the moment, it's just stuck up in the left corner. It's not looking that great. It's not the right typeface. Nothing is good about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my text tool, and I'm going to highlight that. I better zoom in a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to highlight that. 1, 2, 3. All right, and I am going to come back over here to Properties, and I'm going to make it look good. Okay, I used Noteworthy for the titles of the songs, so I think probably that would be a good one for the title of the whole thing. So I've got it selected. There's my Minion Pro. I highlight that. I start typing in Noteworthy, and it says, oh, okay, which one do you want? And I want the bold one, of course. So now it's a good typeface. Probably want it to be a lot bigger. Let's try 36. Yeah, maybe even 40. Let's make it 40. Now you might be saying, oh my God, that looks terrible. Well, yeah, it looks terrible, but remember, baby steps. It's the right typeface, and it's a nice big size. Now what we're going to do is something really cool. It's all crowded into this first column because that's what we've told everything to do. Work in these columns. And what we want to tell InDesign to do is we want the title to span both of these columns so that it goes across the whole page. That's called spanning columns. Now we could put it in a different text box and just have the text box go across both, not have any columns in that. But InDesign will let you do this. So all we need to do is highlight all of that. We could triple click on it again. 1, 2, 3. Even though this Buffett is on the next line, it's still part of the same paragraph. And then this is what's a little weird. You need to find this span columns, you need to go to the Classic Essentials. I'm in the Regular Essentials workspace. So I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to go to Essentials Classic. Now this may be somewhere else, but I don't know where it is. So I use it here. No worries. Now you can see the workspace looks a little different if you've used older versions of InDesign, like CS5 or CS6. This will be somewhat familiar. But if you haven't, no worries. So I still have that selected. I'm in the Essentials Classic workspace. And now I can go to this little menu right here. And this little menu's got a bunch of stuff in it. But the bunch of stuff, the thing that we want is span columns. It's right here. But you have to be in Essentials Classic to do it. Okay, so I selected what I want to span the columns. I click on Span Columns. And now, here's this. and it says single column. Well, that's not at all what I want. I want it to span the columns, okay? And I want it to span all of the columns, all right? And that would be 2. So you do need to change it to 2, okay? Now notice how it's kind of banging right there. We're going to fix that in a minute. All right, in fact, we can say space after span, because see how it's real close right there? It's farther away right here, but it's really close right there. So we want it to space after the span, so after that type. And if you just go down, let's make it 6, 4 right now. We can change that later, okay? And have preview, and then you'll be able to see what it's doing. And then you can say, okay, if you don't get that right now, that's okay, because we're going to work with that later. But have it span columns and span 2 columns. That's how many columns we have. So there we are. Now I probably want to triple click on that, and I want to center it. I'm still in Essentials Classic, and that's fine. Here's centered right here. Okay, so notice how it's centering it on the page over those 2 columns. So that's pretty good. Okay? All right, better save it. All right, so now let's start making this look good. Okay, we've got it formatted. Look at how everything is all formatted. So that's looking really pretty good. Okay, now is the time to make it look really good. Okay, more professional. This is not professional. All right, so what I'm going to do is get my black arrow, and I'm going to click off so nothing is selected. That's the key to changing these style sheets, and that's the power of these style sheets. But black arrow, click off so nothing is selected. I'm going to go back to that Essentials workspace. Okay, so here I am back in there. All right, I've clicked off so nothing is selected. And now what I want to do is I'm noticing that I still have hyphens in the titles, even though it only affects this one. So black arrow, click off, nothing selected. Double click on the song title in the Paragraph Styles palette. Come down to hyphenation. I don't know why this is checked, but uncheck it and say OK. So there's that. That was easy. All right. Now I want to, I think there's a space before here. There is. There's 2 spaces before there. See? That's why this column starts a lot lower than this column, because there are spaces here in between the songs by Jimmy Buffett and the first one. So I'm going to get rid of those, believe it or not. So just select them, click, go up, delete. Okay, now you might be saying, well, that looks worse, not better. Not to worry. Okay, let's get into the songs by Jimmy Buffett, and we're going to add some more space after that span. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, triple click in there. Of course, I have to come back to Essentials Classic. I got to come back to this little menu item right here and go down to span columns. But now I can see what I'm doing because these are even. So now I can see I want a lot more here. So what if I put 18? Let's see what that looks like. If I click in any other box, it'll show. All right, I'm thinking that doesn't even look that good. 24. I'm going to even say 36. You decide what looks good to you. When I click in any other box, it'll do the preview, and then I'll be able to see it. That I like. You decide what looks good to you, and then just say OK. All right, so there, that looks pretty all right. Okay, now let's get some stability here. I've got these 2 big gaps right here that I don't think I need. I'm going to take out one of those. Okay, but I think this is too close. So I'm going to add another one there. Now remember that these spaces here are the lyric style. So if I do these the same, if I take this one out and then make sure I've got 2 right here, that will be pretty good. Now, son of a sailor starts here and then goes up here. We're going to fix that in a minute. So I wanted 2 there, and there are 2 there. I just want 1 here. Remember, you want to be picky. That's what makes us professionals. Okay, take one out there. I have two there. Take one out there. I have two there. Take one out there, and that's the last song. Okay, so there we go. See, so now they're all the same, and that's what you want. All right, so I better save it. All right, there are a couple things that we still need to do, and then we'll add some color. All right, here's this. Now, the title of this one says changes in latitudes, changes in, and then there's a break, attitudes. So changes in latitudes, changes in attitudes. Awkward. It would be better if it said changes in latitudes, changes in attitudes. The way to have this changes in come down to attitudes without making it a new paragraph is what's called a soft return. So you just click before the C in changes, hold the shift key, and press return. And that makes it a soft return. Okay, so it just brings it down there, but it's not really a new paragraph. All right, I'm going to look along and see if there's any others that need that. Yes, the weather is here. Wish you were beautiful. Awkward. Let's bring wish you were down. Shift return. Anything else? No, everything else looks good. So just those couple. Okay. And then the last thing we're going to do is we need to make sure that we don't have anything weird like this. See, this block of lyrics goes with this song down here. Okay, so that's awkward. We want the whole songs to be together. It is okay to have extra space. So I can't just shorten this column like we sometimes do because it's tied to this column. It's one text box. So I'm just going to click before the quotes, before son of a sailor, and just do returns until it goes up there. Notice that it's all lined up and looking beautiful. So there's that. Scroll down here. Now volcano starts on this page, but it continues on this page. Not good. So again, going to click right there before volcano, return until it goes to here. All right. Weather is here. Wish you were beautiful. That's all good. One particular harbor needs to come to this second column. So same deal. All right. So they line up at the top. And then extra space down here, perfectly fine. We could put pictures in there, or maybe we just leave it, or maybe we have color. Who knows? And so now if you do a Command 0 to fit it in the window, okay, my black arrow, you can see that everything looks pretty good. Again, there's a big gap right here, a big empty space, but I could put a picture in there if I wanted to. It'd be kind of good. You know, palm trees or tropical drink or a boat or who knows what. All right. Last thing we're going to do, let's add some color. Okay. We do that right through the style sheets. Okay. So black arrow, click off so nothing is selected. I'm in my Essentials Classic, so I'm going to go back to Essentials. All right, here we are. And here's my paragraph styles. So lovely. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I don't want to have every single thing be a different color. That would be crazy. But I think the song titles could use some color. Again, black arrow, click off, nothing is selected. Double click on the song title. Make sure preview is checked. And then you just come down along here until you see character color. And then it gives you these boring regular colors. Okay, these are just the plain default colors. You don't want to use those. You want to pick your own colors. Also notice that it brought a couple of colors in from Word inexplicably. So don't worry about that. We're just going to make our own colors. Okay, remember, nothing is selected or anything. And all we need to do, we're in our song title paragraph style. Here's the color it is right now, black. So just click on that, maybe double click on that. There we are. And then it's RGB instead of CMYK, and that is because we're making this for an iPod or an iPad. Okay, so it's a digital, so it would be in RGB colors because those are the colors of light. So all we need to do is just change these, just use these sliders and change them to colors that you like. Okay, so maybe a nice, remember these are tropical things. So maybe, do I want a nice green? Do I want some kind of a purpley pinky color? Something bright? I don't know. Not too bright. Don't make it look like candy. Maybe something like that looks kind of good. Okay, you decide, but pick a color that you like, and then you can just say, okay, you can say add to. They both will do the same thing. They will add this color to your swatches palette. So just say okay, and there it is. Now, the thing you need to remember is you need to choose that color or else nothing happens. See how everything, all my song titles are still black? You need to remember, now I still need to choose that color. And when I do that, they all change. Okay, so awesome. Maybe I decide, let's zoom in a little bit, see how things look. Okay, so there. So maybe I decide now, remember nothing's selected, that I want to change the album. Okay, double click on that, go down to character color. I'm going to make a new color. I don't want to use that same purple. So I double click on that black, and maybe I'll use some kind of a turquoisey color that I think will go well. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and then again, don't forget, oh, those look good together. If I didn't like it, I would just double click on here. It's fine, and then I would just change it. So nice. Just don't forget to select the color. Say okay. Now I think I will do something with the release date. All right, character color, double click. Let's see. Now I could choose one of the colors that I already made. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see how this looks. I don't want it to be too, what if I made it pink? It might be a little bit much, but let's see. A little girly, but I can live with that. All right, say okay. And now, actually, this doesn't look too bad, having the lyrics black because they are so light. It's a very light, thin typeface. But it's still a hair strong compared to these sort of pastel colors that I picked. So I don't want to pick another color per se, but I'm thinking maybe a light gray would look good. Remember, click off, nothing selected. Let's go to the lyrics. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go to character color, and then I'm going to leave them black, but I'm just going to change the tint. Okay, so I'm going to see what it looks like at 70. All right, let's see. See how it's a little bit lighter? It's a little more subtle. All right, you can try it even a little bit lighter. Okay, you don't want to go too light. See how it's changing there? I think that's a little on the light side though. I'll make it 60. Okay, if you can't decide between 50 or 70, then split the difference. Okay, and now that's just a softer look, which is what I want for this. All right, better zoom out a little bit. And then what we're going to do is, I don't want the title to be black. That would look dumb when everything else is all these colors. So I'm going to triple click on that. And I can just actually go to my swatches. It's under color, swatches. And those swatches that I made, they are right here. So I can say, yeah, I like that purple for this. Or 1, 2, 3, maybe I want to use that. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so the swatches that I made, those colors that I made, get added to the swatches palette. So that's nice. All right. And so there you have it. Now, anything that you decide you want to change, you can. Just remember, black arrow, click off so nothing is selected, and then change it in the paragraph styles. So if you decide that you don't like the typeface for your titles, or the too big or too small, or whatever it is, or you decide that you want a different typeface for the lyrics, you can do all that. Click off so nothing is selected. That way you won't get any overrides and everything will be great. And now you will just save it, and then you will package it and make a press quality PDF like you always do, and that's what you hand in to me, that packaged folder. Don't forget to add the words "to print" to the packaged folder, and you will be all set. And that is an efficient way of using style sheets. It seems like it takes a long time, but in reality it doesn't, and you're much more likely to make changes so that you get a good result, rather than, well, I've already spent an hour and a half on this thing, that's good enough. Nope, with style sheets, it's so easy to make changes that you're much more likely to do it. Okay, so thank you very much, and if you have any questions, just email me.